before they send it to you. So if you see that status, that's what that means. Once they change the status to send to PM sales, then it'll show in your queue. It'll also stay in there for when you've submitted it to the customer. Once the customer says, yep, we're good to go, you're going to convert non-print to a job. Or if it is print, you're going to change the status to awarded and enter your Clattery job. Or if they said not this time, you're going to change it to not awarded. And then again, here's your queue. You'll see the description follows all the way along. So information's flowing beginning to end. You don't have to re-enter information every single time. Change order. So one thing I'm going to say is that we have a change order process. It's clunky, it's not the most efficient, and it sucks. But it's what we have today. We're going to fix it in the future, not today. We're trying to get PM home base for you guys first. Once PM home base is built, then we'll go in and fix the change order process. But we do have a process today, and it is email. So if you have changes for departments, you'll still do the changes. So for print, it's a change order email. For the other departments, you'll send that email to those estimators with those changes. We did add a estimate status called change order, so you'll be able to go into the estimate, change the change order. What that does is it pops back in their queue, so at least they have visibility that changes are coming, but you'll still email. What they'll do is they'll attach that email as a PDF into that estimate. So if a month down the road you want to look back and see what happened with this, you'll have that story, you'll have that documentation all in that one place. What they'll also do is they'll go in and they'll create a new version in the estimate. I don't know if you guys have customers where it's like they have all these changes and so all of a sudden you have 5 revisions and they're like, oh, by the way, I want revision 2. Right?
All the time.
Right? So now you'll be able to go in, go back to a revision 2 and convert that over to a job. Once they're done making the changes, they're going to change that status to send to PM sales. That's going to send you an email notification and it's also going to show up in your queue. Okay. All right, so customer says, yep, we're ready to move on this. You're going to convert your estimate to a job. Now, if it's blended, you're going to need to make sure you're going to convert the correct estimate. So if it's print for centralized estimating, you'll create your Clattery job, but they may have in here a kitting estimate, and that's a different estimate number, or fab estimate is a different estimate number. You'll go into those and convert those over. Don't convert this one up here. It won't bring all the right details over. Okay, does that make sense?
So there'll be one estimate number that includes sub-estimate number.
Yep, yep. And this is just for blended estimates and centralized estimating does. Yes.
And would that include small format?
Yes.
They would have like a small format estimate number?
Yep.
Okay, and then we just go in.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Or if it's just small format, they'll have their own. So if it's just small format, you can convert the main number. Or if it's just
Okay.
R&D, you can convert the main number. It's when it's blended together.
So we have to convert all 3 estimates to different.
Well, so this main one's going to be your print, and you don't convert print because that's going in the Clattery. But these ones, yes. So for your kitting, you'll convert your kitting estimate to a job. For fab, you'll convert your kitting or fab estimate to a fab job. Okay.
So if it's small format and large format,
Yeah.
I'm just confused. So you
Oh,
would
I'm
have-
sorry. Yes, you're right. You would not convert the small format because you're going to enter a Clattery job.
Okay, all right.
If we're converting the fab jobs now, are we supposed to know like how they're, like, obviously we kind of know how they're producing it, but like, I don't know in detail the way Spencer does.
Great. That's
So,
okay.
okay,
So what's going to happen is they're going to convert, so in the estimate it'll be multiple parts. You'll convert it over, and they're going to review it afterwards. So I'm going to show you that here in just a second. So if I don't answer your question after 2 slides, bring it up again. So you'll convert that estimate to a job. You're going to enter that job type. So if it's fabrication or fixture assembly, you'll select fabrication. If it's R&D, you'll choose PDAV fixture, kitting general purpose job. Then you'll select your sub job type. If it's fab only, you're gonna enter in additional details. So like the carton labels, kind of those instructions that you used to give in your purchase orders, those are the things that you'll put in here. If it's R&D, you don't have to really enter in any information here. A lot of the information's already in the questionnaire, which they'll have access to. If you have additional new information, go ahead and put it in here, but most of what they have is there, so there's no requirements for them in adding additional details. And then you're gonna change that status to pre-production ready. So what that does is it's gonna show up in a queue for them. So it's gonna show up in a queue for them, and then they're gonna review it. So for Fab PMs, they're gonna, as soon as you change that status, shows up in their queue, they go in and they review it. So if there's anything funky with it or something going on, or they need additional information, they'll reach out. Then they'll change that status to production ready. That means, hey, production, you can now start working on this. Does that make sense? Once production's complete, they're gonna change it to ship complete. So now you're gonna know that's done. You'll have visibility to that. For print, you'll still continue to have to change those to ship complete if you're not invoicing the same day it ships. And then closed. So after you invoice, you need to close your jobs. I know there's confusion, do I close Fab jobs or not close Fab jobs? Yes, you'll close Fab jobs, you'll close all jobs. We no longer will be using the Fab purchase orders, so you will be closing all jobs. So this is the project screen. Does anything look different on there? So we added a couple tabs, so now there's an estimate request tab, so you can see all the estimate requests that are tied to that project. There's an estimates tab, so you can see all your estimates tied to that project. Jobs, purchase orders, invoices. But then we also added a drop down. So now, you need to close your jobs, you'll have a drop down right in there. You'll go close, 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 update. You change ship complete, ship complete, ship complete. Oh my gosh, that's hard to say. Update. Okay? Is that cool?
Very cool.
So as we go through this, I know PM Home Base isn't coming until August, we'll have development done. But as we go, we're trying to find little things can we do to make things more efficient for you. So that's one way that we thought, hey, we could help you out a little bit. Unless you like to go into each job and do it one at a time.
So these will not automatically close when the project closes? If the entire project closes, these will still stay open?
Correct, correct. So you'd have to go in and go close, close, close,
So what if,
close. You guys are, Michelle does your invoicing, so I believe she goes in and she closes them, so your team's a little bit different.
so for the FAB process, are we still following like what we did before? Because right now I send an email to Spencer and be like, Spencer, please start a drawing for this one for me. And stuff like that, or am I supposed to be sending that through here?
Yep.
Then Spencer knows to start the drawing.
Yep, so in your estimate request, you'll put the information in, and you'll tell him, hey, I need a drawing, blah, blah, blah. As soon as you change that to submitted, it shows up in a queue for him to start doing that.
So they're not starting estimating activity, they're starting
They're-
design
yeah.
activity.
Yep,
So do we call that still Fab,
yep,
even though we're using Fab Designer? So the pre-estimate activity is actually the request that you're making that
yep.
will ultimately,
So then do we have to go
You
back in and
request
do
for the
like another estimate after they get the drawing done, or? is that
So
you're
what
trying
they
to get?
said, what they explained to me is that it should be the same, so your requirements on the job should be the same. Is that not correct? We have somebody in Fab here. They were in other trainings. So you go in, you put in that request, they would start, they'd work with the engineers to do the
Yeah.
drawing, then they would submit that back to you.
Yep,
and they might be designing 10 parts.
yeah,
And so it may be that you're working on that same estimate request, right? So you change it to submitted, they start working on it, you may go back in and make modifications to that same estimate request. So it's kind of, you're working on the same thing. That make sense?
A little bit, it's just there's a ton of pre-estimate
Yeah.
activities, like a
Yeah.
lot of stuff happens
yeah.
Sure.
before you
Before you
even have like a solidified element list where you're like, okay, now they approved option A, E, and F, and we're gonna now price
Now
those,
I need-
and that's
now I
when
need
I would
prices
do it.
for 250,
Yeah.
500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thousand.
Quantities like that.
Usually
So
get
that-
the drawing first and then.
Right, so this at least gets it in for them to know that we have a project. In the questionnaire, so say you go on and it's like, I need a drawing, right? So you at least have an estimate number that everybody's working off of the same thing, right? So now it's like, got this drawing and things changed a little bit. You can work with Fab and either they can estimate or edit it, or they can say, hey, can you go in and edit this? As long as that request has not been converted over, we can change the information in here.
So it'll be a while before they deliver an estimate. So it's gonna sit in their queue,
That's okay.
right? Because it's really not in an estimating queue, it's in a design queue, and a design and engineering queue for them.
Yeah, but it's still like, they're doing stuff on it, right? So it's
Get
like,
visibility.
they have visibility to it. Plus, all that history, all that conversation, we can keep it all recorded in the same thing. So any of that, it gets attached or it gets edited in notes so that we have that whole story. That make sense? Same thing with design, you know, over at R&D. Same thing, I know there's a lot of revisions back and forth, but it's like that one piece that kind of holds everything together. Okay. Concerns?
Well, so, is the project number holding it all together?
So that's holding everything for that project. So all your estimate
So-
requests,
So
all of your
it's
estimates.
Locking it all together?
Yep,
Even if you got 10 different parts to it?
yep.
Okay.
So you have a design estimate request, an engineer estimate request, maybe prototype. It's still holding them all together with the
By that
project.
project number?
So you do a development project before you can do the estimate.
Oh,
Yep,
shoot.
so project, as
Really?
soon as it comes in, you're gonna open a project.
So
Even
all
though it's not
estimates-
live.
Yep. Okay, so think big picture, guys. Remove it, this is the foundation, okay? So we're gonna start building a sales order pipeline. So we'll be able to, as soon as that opportunity comes in from a salesperson, it's an opportunity. We can start tracking when that becomes a sales order. So all this is doing is it's building that foundation for us to start having that functionality. So as soon as we get a request from our customer, a project gets open.
For all estimates, even if they don't go anywhere?
Yep. Yep. So we start having visibility to what we've won, what we've lost. It's not just sitting in team drives and emails, we're getting all that information in the system.
How does an estimate work if you are printing something that you would, in this case, we would put in Flatter if we were awarded it, but it's something that we needed a fab estimate on because it's gonna be keyed when we're done?
Right.
Will the fab portion of that be its own?
So is fab within the production plan? So it's
Yes.
within the print production plan? Those are going to Platter. So Ben will be training on that next week. You will no longer need this. It'll be just part of the Platter production plan.
But we needed to get a price from Fab to do the bed.
It's gonna be in Platter.
Oh, the pricing will be.
There was a glitch with that. Yesterday I tried to enter a print job with heat bending and I couldn't get dates in because I had to enter them all.
Same thing.
Yeah,
there's-
so then I had to enter my dates and then go back and say heat bending.
So that they struggle.
No.
We actually say that.
So they wouldn't, once I did heat bend, I could not enter dates and
Once
get
you update the
flashing.
outsource pricing,
Outsource pricing,
Outsource
outsource
pricing.
pricing.
Oh,
It
right,
wouldn't let you
yeah,
go
it's
anymore.
that alert.
Yep.
Was that like that before?
No.
no.
Okay, so it might be something that Ben's doing. Can you take that? Thanks. Okay.
What happens if we get like a rush job? Where I don't have time to do all this estimating because I would say probably 50% of my jobs are like I have a job coming in today at noon that I have to ship yet today at 5. I'm not gonna have to do an estimate. I just gotta do it.
So print or not print?
Print.
Print, put it in Platter.
Sometimes it's missing stuff though, because if you're doing custom taping or anything, it doesn't put in the right price of the tape and all that stuff. Or if it has interior cuts, it's not gonna have the right pricing on it for Zumbi.
Yeah, so, you'll have to account for that. So either your option is to send it to centralized estimating or account for that on your own.
So can you still get the job through?
Yeah, can we still get it
And then
through is what
after-
I'm asking
then
them,
after the fact,
because
you
that's
can
what we
have
do
them
right
price
now.
it.
Yeah, I've done that before.
Right now, we run the job and then we send a quote to get it quoted.
Yeah.
Because Mac doesn't care, Mac is like, we gotta get it done.
That's
Yeah.
how sleep number is too, I
Yeah.
do a lot of Russians.
Sure, and then
I mean, the
always
good
just-
news is, so we're going to be doing some, we're kind of jumping ahead, but, we're simplifying order entry, where right now, like, all your drop downs will be like cutting and finishing, and it's like, you have to go through all these things in Pottery. They're gonna be groups by departments going forward, so you'll have all your finishing in one section, all your cutting in one section. What that's gonna allow us to do is to add more options, so internal cuts, custom taping, all of that stuff, we'll start being able to add as drop downs. So that should get it easier. So for right now, continue to do that, that's okay. But we will be fixing that so that hopefully you won't have to, you'll get your price on the fly. Okay,
Speaking of the hub, are we ever gonna get fixed that when we're like hit tab, it doesn't go do, do,
Yeah.
do, do, do?
What?
'Cause, like with the little cursor, if you hit tab, it literally bounces all around your
Yeah.
page and you're like,
It doesn't go.
you
to
gotta
the
wait till
spot.
it like stops and then like change your size and then sometimes you change your size.
It goes back
And then
to one.
bounces and then goes back to like.
But it
what
doesn't
was
do it on the
before.
small
Yeah.
format side. It
Yeah, it
only
doesn't
does
do it on the
large
small format
format.
side, only on the large